A lady's been making masks for this coronavirus. We're going to see.
Pied Piper out there, affiliated. Start with instructions on how to make a face mask with ties. This is not to prevent you from getting the virus, but it will help you from spreading it. And a lot of states now are requiring that you wear a mask into the grocery store. Now the first step is to get some fabric. And when you get the fabric, you should iron it. Now I'm cutting this fabric in 7 by 9 inch pieces. You can use scissors, you can use your rotary cutter. It doesn't matter as long as the fabric is cotton. And once you make these masks, you are going to want to wash them. So you cut them apart like this, and you take them over to the ironing board. Once you cut your fabric, you can cut your interfacing. If it's fusible, you want to fuse it down to the wrong side, putting the right sides together. If you don't have fusible interfacing or you're using flannel to make the inside, then you don't need to do that step of pressing it down. Interfacing is a light woven fabric. It's very, well, not tender, but it's strong, and it provides another layer of filtering. You then want to take it to your sewing machine, and you want to sew a hem, a seam on each side. Sew that seam down, cut your threads. Bring it back over to the ironing board, and you want to turn it inside out. I ran out of bias tape that I was using for the strap, so I have to make my own tape for the tie strings. Now if you have a serger, it's easy to use the serger and just fold it in half and serge clear along the end of it. If you don't have a serger, you can use a regular sewing machine, use a close zigzag stitch, and stitch along this edge. Now, you need to press this strap, this tie string. And if you can get in here and do a close-up, you can see I'm not pressing it all the way to the edge. I'm leaving a little space there. And the reason for that, I'll explain when we get back to the sewing machine. But if you don't do it, it's going to cause you problems. And just keep going along. And if you have helpers that's ironing your material for you, you might not let a child do this because you're using steam and you don't want your child to burn themselves. Now we have a strap, and on the back you can see the stitching. And on the front it looks like this. Now I'll show you how to attach them. Okay, this is the material that we cut out. We turned it inside out and pressed it. Now you want to get your strap, the half of it, so you can put it halfway at the top of your mask. And I put the thread side down. Stick a pin in it where it comes right to the end of there, to the edge of the mask. And now you're going to sew this tie onto the mask. I sew it very close to that folded edge. I'm actually lining the folded edge up with this inner part of my foot. Take the pin out, place your mask in between the folds, and sew it down. Take it up. I just cut off a little bit of the end. Make sure your threads are gone without cutting the seam off. Once you've done that, you'll have put one on the top, one on the bottom, and it'll look like this. Cut them off. Now you're going to make the folds in the mask. The folds provide the tightness to close in on your face, and also so you can pucker it up over your mouth. So you take about 1/2 inch and bring it down. And you take a pin and pin it. Now I like to do both sides at once so I know they're even. Then I take some from the top, do the same thing. Once you have your pins in place, now you're going to sew the folds down. I take the pins out as I go because I like them against the edge so it keeps the edge more even. And when you're doing this, when you get down to that fold, do a little back stitch over it, give it a little bit more strength. So if you don't have flannel or interfacing to put in between the pieces of fabric, you can use 3 pieces of fabric. Some people only use 2, and that's okay, but to me that doesn't have much filtering fact. Once you've done that side, just go over and do the other side. Now the first mask I made, this is all I did on them. I didn't do anything else for them, and that's how I used them. I did find out that, see, they'll pop open like that, and they work very well. You can actually do like they do in surgery and just tie all the straps together. Or you can do your straps along here and along here. To me, that's too much wear on my machine. And then once you've gotten your pleats all in there, when you wear these masks, the folds go down. They go like this. You don't want them going up in the front. If you look at the back, they're going up. Look at the front, they're going down. I found that these masks will fit a lot better if you just fold them in half. This is the bottom. And put a little dart in there. I go backwards and forwards. Forwards, backwards. And I only do it once. I just did it twice so you could see. And this we'll provide it so it tucks right underneath your chin. Voila. If you don't have any fabric and you're not a sewer, or you don't have a sewing machine, it can be done by hand. You can use an old sheet or an old pillowcase as the fabric. And if you use like an old pillowcase, part of the seams are already done for you. They're already sewn in. Don't forget to cut your straps 2 inches by at least 36 inches so that you can fold them over the fabric and also tie them. But like I said, if any fabric will do, as long as it's a closed weave cotton fabric. So stay in place and stay well and help everyone out.